Every sport has its issues and drama, and unfortunately, that includes Jiu-Jitsu as well. From exorbitant fees to dating the students and even making people wear mandatory gym uniforms, there's a huge laundry list of issues or red flags in Jiu-Jitsu, and hopefully it doesn't apply too much to you. For this video, let's not beat around the bush. Normally I have some type of script, but I've been in so many different types of gyms, seen all these red flags, and I know how likely they are to happen. And one of the worst things you can do, and part of my old gym drama, is dating the students. Apparently, if you own one of these magical black belts, white belt women will just flock to you. Now, personally, I've never had that experience myself, and I seem to be a deterrent even with a black belt, but it seems to happen to a lot of other coaches that I've seen. One of the weirdest things you can do is when you're a person of authority and some new white belt comes in and you're gonna date them. It creates immediate tension. How are you supposed to treat them? Are they being favored by the coach? If you're a different student but you tap them out, will you be ostracized? And the biggest one is, what happens when they break up? It goes as far for me to see constant Reddit posts of how a gym owner ruins his entire marriage because he wants to date a 21-year-old white belt who quits a few months later. How about instead, if you're a coach, you own the gym, just don't date the students. The second big red flag that I can think of is gyms that do not take hygiene seriously. Ringworm, staph, and pubic hair in your mouth are all symptoms of a dirty gym with bad hygiene. Most of you guys probably know this, but students already pay a lot of money just to train jiu-jitsu, so they don't want to be forced off the mats where they pay to be because some hobo walked in off the street and he's stinking up everything. And it can always be worse. Ringworm is relatively easy to control where you just put some cream on it and it goes away. But it could be staph where it's going to lead to medical complications, going to bring you to the hospital, and who knows how bad this could get. If you're a gym owner, you need to clean the mats. Take a mop after class, wipe them down with bleach, make sure it's all tidy and nice to go before the next class gets started. But this isn't all on the gym owner. Students need to be showering when they come to the gym beforehand and after, just like your parents taught you when you were a child. Another big red flag that we see in gyms that isn't really a red flag to everybody that trains are insane warm-ups. Do you go to jiu-jitsu because you want to do cardio sessions, or do you go to jiu-jitsu because you want to learn how to do, I don't know, jiu-jitsu? One thing I loved from wrestling was the crazy workout I got from it. But I was a teenager, and a red flag in jiu-jitsu gyms is when I see this same wrestling mentality brought over to adults just trying to find a hobby. Sprinting, push-ups, burpees. All this time can be better spent learning the sport. And no, I don't mean replacing with meaningless shrimping down the mat. I mean actual techniques like trying to teach people how to do a guillotine choke. It's a colossal waste of time. If you want to get better at cardio, you can just go to LA Fitness and jump on the treadmill like every other stay-at-home mom I've seen. And if warm-ups are really important to you because you're older and just makes your body feel better, guess what? You can do them right before class, then do the actual technique when class starts. Insane warm-ups are one thing, but what's truly mind-boggling are gyms that don't do any rolling. You probably think I'm capping on this, but have you ever run into similar colored belts? You roll with them. In the most polite way possible, they totally suck ass. What's the big red flag in my mind is that they're the same color belt, but they lack the technical aptitude to get there. The whole point of learning jiu-jitsu is being able to apply it to something other than a training dummy. Otherwise, the sport is going to turn into something like Aikido. When coaches limit or get rid of rolling at their gym, that's a red flag you shouldn't be training there. I've gone to some big gyms where it's 80 minutes of class and 2 5-minute rounds of rolling. At least 30 minutes of rolling should be mandatory in every class if you don't have something like positional sparring during the technique. If you can't do these moves against somebody with more effort than a human corpse, can you really even do jiu-jitsu? A personal red flag I have though is if you're at your gym thinking that technique is enough. It's not. What you really need to be doing is be taking supplements from transparentlabs.com. Transparent Labs is a supplement company providing you with the best ingredients possible and an affordable price. They have protein, hydration drinks, post-workout recovery, and anything you can think of. Best part is, if you use promo code Tyler, you can save yourself money while picking up your favorite merchandise. Go to transparentlabs.com, get bigger muscles so you're not as small as some of my friends right here, and you're gonna impress all the ladies that you train with. Now, one red flag that I haven't personally had to endure, but I know it exists out there from reading and visiting other gyms, is that there are mandatory gym outfits or paid rank testing. Have you ever heard of the Gracie Baja rules where you must buy the rash guard and gis? Or if you visit a gym, they may require you to rent one of their white gis because you showed up in a blue one? Gym owners can do whatever they want, but I always found it weird how as a paying customer, the gym owner is going to dictate exactly on what you wear to their gym with your free time. In my opinion, as long as you meet the clothing requirement of wearing a gi if it's a gi class, or at least some type of clothing for no gi class so you're not naked, you should be good to train. Some gyms out there may try and sell it like it's a team spirit and you're bonding, but really you're just filling the pockets of your gym owners. And I do have to admit that's not the biggest secret. Jiu-Jitsu gyms don't make a killing unless you're really well known and have world-class instruction. However, forcing your students to wear a uniform that you picked out and you get a bigger margin on isn't the way to do it. And that applies to rank testing too. Some gym owners hold this thing called testing day. It's a day that may be accompanied by a seminar, but really you have to pay to be there just so you can get ranked up. Pieces of tape that you may see in other people's belts cost the coach 1 penny to purchase and throw on your belt, but it costs you $30 to get that stripe. Or what's even more criminal is that some gyms charge $80 to $100 just to go to the next belt. So if you're feeling pretty good about being a white belt, you're beating other blue belts, you also have to fork over a part of your wallet if you want to rank up to blue belt. That's way too similar to Taekwondo for my liking. If your coach wants to promote you, it should be on the merit of your skill, not on the size of your wallet. Another big red flag, which is hard to notice and hard to improve, is just bad coaching. Pretend you're a new coach going to fundamentals class. It's mostly full of white belts and blue belts. Should you really be showing barambolos? No, of course not. It should be guillotines. But realistically, there are gyms out there that don't teach to the class, they just teach what they want to show. Recently, I've been trying to show wrestling to a lot more of my guys and be really easy to overcomplicate things and show them advanced techniques, chain wrestling, etc. But I don't, because they suck. I'm stuck showing the basics like hand fighting, high crouches, double legs, and single legs. Nothing more. If you're a coach and you teach white belts barambolos, or maybe you teach all these heavyweights that can barely get off the couch how to do cartwheel passing, you need to rethink your strategy and how you're going to teach your students. Now, there are lots of red flags out there. I'm sure I'm missing a bunch, but the biggest red flag that exists that I don't deal with myself is if you can't cross-train. With the internet and seeing all these techniques all over the place, it's a lot more common that you can just go to a different gym and participate in their open mat, get some good training in, figure out new techniques, and go home to your own gym. Back in the day when techniques were a lot more secretive, your coach would have his own game style and he would kill you if you went down the street to go train at Leg Lockers R Us. With how much techniques are being shared through social media and other sources, I don't think this one is as big an issue as it used to be. However, if it happens at your gym, it's a huge red flag. There are a lot of red flags in Jiu-Jitsu, but it shouldn't deter you from trying to learn the sport. Go out there, guillotine some people, just make sure you go to the best gym that you can in your area.